In 2019, I was contacted by a gentleman called Jonathan for saxophone lessons. Nothing really out of the ordinary there because that's what I do for a living. I do saxophone lessons. But he had a very, very specific request. And the request was that he wanted to play at his daughter's wedding, which was going to be in 2022. And it just worked out, we had just under 2 years. So my initial reaction was, well, in my experience, having played at thousands and thousands of weddings, people, especially the bride, the groom, and the parents of the bride and groom, are really quite stressed. You've got such a lot to think about and such a lot to organise. So I asked him if he had ever had any musical experience before. No. Right? Had he ever played the saxophone before? Never done that before. And so I said to him, I just don't think it's a very good idea. Like, I'm happy to give you saxophone lessons, but you sure you want to do this? But he was utterly determined. I even suggested to him that he, played in a studio at some point further down the road when he had some experience, so that he could record all of this and put it on a big screen at the wedding. No, he wasn't having any of it. He was determined to play live. And having spoken to him, I got the sense, which turned out to be exactly right, that he was an exceptionally determined and hardworking individual. So I said to him, well, the reality is you're going to have to play the saxophone every day, pretty much every day between now and the day of the wedding. And, are you prepared to do that? 100% yes. Says you're going to need to learn scales, you're going to need to learn lots of technical stuff that don't have anything to do necessarily with the tune that you want to play, which was, by the way, "And I will always love you," which is kind of ironic because the last interview that I did was with Kirk Whalum, who actually did play that song. That was the tune that he wanted to play. And I said to him, and also the playing at your daughter's wedding can't be your first function. That can't be your first gig, because you're going to need to get some gigging experience, because otherwise the nerves are just going to be overwhelming. Are you prepared to do that? And he said, yeah, I totally am. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just get me to the position where I can play from scratch to playing "I Will Always Love You" in 2 years. And between us, we did it. We absolutely did it. And I say between us, Jonathan put in all the really hard work, and obviously I gave a lot of support and guidance, but he was the one that did the work. And it's a really inspiring story, and that's why I've asked him to be my second interviewee on my YouTube channel after Kirk Whalum. So here's a saxophonist that you've never heard of, and yet I think he's really, really inspiring, and I really hope that you enjoy the interview.
Jonathan Currington, thank you so much for coming on my YouTube channel to share your amazing story.
Thank you. Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. So what was it that made you so determined to play at your daughter's wedding, especially given that you'd never played any instrument, especially the saxophone? You'd never played before. Why were you so determined to do that?
I just wanted to do something different. I mean, you can always buy gifts and things like that. I mean, I know weddings are expensive anyway, but I just wanted to do something that money couldn't buy. So I wanted to do something where, I mean, I was super proud of my daughter for being married that day, like any father would be. I just wanted, and I know, the brides are always proud of their fathers, but I just wanted to turn it up a little notch, just so that, just to make it different.
A little notch. I think that's a huge notch. I mean, you were really giving of yourself, because what you were essentially giving was hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of practice, which is just so impressive and commendable. And as I said in the preamble, I thought initially it was such a mammoth task that it was probably a bit too much to take on board, given that you were going to be at the wedding anyway, and it was quite stressful. But you really stuck to it, didn't you?
Yes. It was just something I wanted to do. It takes a lot of dedication, probably a lot more than I first initially thought. I thought, playing a saxophone, you've got a few keys on there, let's go for it. And it was a bit of a rude awakening, really.
So And yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. So how did you keep the motivation going through that process? Because, you know, there must have been challenging times.
Oh, definitely challenging times. I'm a hard taskmaster with myself, so determination. I'm so headstrong and determined anyway. So once I set my mind on something, you know, that's what I'm going to do. It's just fixated. So there was no problems with me being determined to do it. It was just, you know, while you're learning, you know, where you make mistakes, you get annoyed with yourself, and you think, oh my God, you know, am I ever going to do it? That was the hardest part, I think. Literally being a hard taskmaster on myself. I think that was it.
So, and the other thing that you did was that you kept this. Now, my first understanding was that you were going to keep this as a complete secret from your family, but actually, and so the question was, where did you practice and how did you make sure that nobody found out? But actually, your family were aware that you were playing the saxophone, but they weren't aware what you had in mind for your daughter's wedding day.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you can't hide the fact that, you know, you've got a saxophone sitting around the house, because they would always ask if they come around. So they knew that I'd started to learn, just not the reason why. And it was quite easy to throw them off the scent, because obviously as you progress, and you do get better over time. I'd show them clips of music I'd be learning that I might have pre-done, just to make it sound worse than what it would be, or more basic, or, and you know, just to throw them off the scent. And that's what I would do. So, you know, a year down the line, and I'm still showing them, you know, chord charts, and so just, just the basic stuff. Yeah.
And was your partner in on the secret as well? Did she
Yeah,
know that?
Jackie knew. Jackie knew that, that's my partner. She knew what I was doing, and she was really supportive,
Yeah.
especially coming from her background in theatre. So she totally got the dedication that it would take to do this.
But it was Nikita, who's your daughter. She had absolutely no idea that you were planning to play at her wedding.
Whatsoever, absolutely no idea what I was planning.
What do you think she would have? What do you think she would have thought if she did know that you were planning to do that?
She probably would have tried to dictate exactly what I would play, for starters, when I would do it, how I would do it.
And
Yeah.
you actually, what you did want to play was Whitney Houston, and which is ironic because this is the second interview that I've ever done for my YouTube channel. You're the second, and the first person was Kirk Whalum, who of course actually did play that with Whitney Houston. So there's a kind of ironic connection there between you and Kirk.
Yeah, totally. Just how it happens. It's such a beautiful song, and it just suits the saxophone so well. Like a lot of songs, to be honest. But that just, yeah, it's just so nice, powerful ballad that would just hit the spot, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, it certainly did. And I've seen, and I'm going to include in this video. In fact, maybe this would be a good moment in the video to show a little clip of you playing. And it's only on somebody's phone, and I know it's not the best recording. Let's go and have a quick look.
Oh my god, I'm crying. It's like something all up
Yeah, amazing. So, well done. I mean, again, massive, massive respect to you for taking this on board. And I remember that I've already said in the preamble that, I probably tried to talk you out of it because of the stress factors, having played at thousands of weddings over the years, mums and dads of the brides and the bride themselves and the groom, everybody's quite stressed is maybe not quite, it probably is the right word actually. It is quite stressful because you've got a lot on your plate, and adding something like this is really significant, and could go horribly wrong, because what I suggested was that you record it in a studio and then you could play that on a big screen or something, but you were adamant, and again, all power to you. But I set you some challenges. So one was you needed to know all of your scales, you needed to have played lots of other tunes, and as well, so that you were well rounded. And then one of the challenges that I said to you, or one of the kind of a deal breaker for me, was that this wasn't going to be your first performance, because you had to get used to performing. And so I rather cruelly said that you had to go out busking, and which is something that you'd never done before. And to add to everything, right, you're not the most comfortable around kind of performance pressure with the saxophone, are you? So what was it? So my question to you is, how did it feel going busking for the first time? And were you nervous? And how did you feel afterwards?
Yeah, I was so nervous, which really surprised me. Not totally, but I'm I could walk into a room and chat to anyone. I've been on road trips, and literally chat to anyone. It doesn't worry me. So it surprised me to feel how nervous I was, and it took a lot of courage for me personally, literally, just to go and lay yourself out bare for people to watch and to ridicule or whatever. So yeah, it was very tough, and very hard thing for me to do. And I went to a place called Higgins Park, which is in Marlow.
In the UK?
Yeah, in the UK. It's about 5 miles outside of the centre of London itself. So it's pretty close to London. And I chose the park because it was a Sunday morning. So I knew people were going to be milling around, but also there was going to be plenty of space so that I didn't interrupt in their day, because I was very conscious of it. I didn't, I just didn't. I wanted to be able to escape almost if I wanted to, and literally just pack the stuff up and walk away. I was that nervous.
Yeah.
So
and how did you feel afterwards? Did you feel like a high that you'd done it, or was it a massive relief? Or
initially it was a massive relief. It was like a massive thinking, oh my God, I've done it. And then as you're packing away, and people have been around and they're still watching, you're thinking, oh my God, I've done it. I literally done it. And yeah, you puts you on a high. It does put you on a high, and you got a big smile over your face for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Well done. Well, again, all power to you. Well done. And you also played at some other places. So we have an annual get together at my place. We've got quite a large garden here, and we invite all of the sax players. We have a live band, we have a barbecue, and my wife invites her singing students, and we do this thing that I think one year we had like over 200 people. And you played at one of these events as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah, and I think that was the last time. That was the last time I played. That gave me the pre-bit before the wedding. It was literally just before the wedding that I'd done this, or very, very close to the wedding. So it was just like a final dress rehearsal. So yeah.
And I remember it just went really, really well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised because I did actually make a mistake, but nobody noticed. And I think that helped give me encouragement as well, because I was able to just to not fluff over it, but just to incorporate what I'd done, and yeah, just to keep it there and keep it on track.
I think the thing is with making mistakes in performance is that you know exactly what it is, or more or less exactly what it is that you're trying to do. And so if you make a mistake, it sticks out like a mile, or the way that I think about it, particularly if you're improvising, if something unexpected happens, it sticks out a mile, and you know that you've kind of come off the path. But the audience listening, they've got no idea what you were going to do. They don't really know what to expect. So their perception is very different, and, they probably don't notice. That's not to say that I ever make mistakes at gigs, because of course I don't know. I do, especially when I'm improvising.
See, that's the thing. I think that was the fears, making a mistake and then losing where I am. I think that's the fear that I have when playing, is just losing your space.
Yeah, and I think that's what you did really well at at the event here. And I think that's one of the things that we talked about is that if you do make a mistake, it's all about damage limitation and you know what some people do is they when they make a mistake, they're playing and they make a mistake and they take the sax out of their mouth and go, oh, I can't believe I've done that. I've done this 20 times at home. I've done this. Honestly, you know, and they're talking, the backing track's still playing. And I'm like, why are you talking? You know, that's like driving in your car, you know, in the middle of the road, right? Realizing that you've just gone over the speed limit, stopping the car, getting out and shouting, I can't believe I've gone over the speed limit. It's get back in your car, mate, and carry on. You know, so, and that's what you did. You know, you carried on and you didn't let that one mistake have a domino effect and continue. So that, I think that's something that, you know, we can all bear in mind when we're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and on the actual day of the wedding, how nervous were you, and what did it feel like to perform for such, perform live for such an important occasion?
To be honest, because it was so busy during the day, obviously I didn't get much chance to worry about what was up and coming. You know, I think about it thinking, well, that's later on. Let's put that to one side. Let's concentrate on what we're doing.
Yeah.
From which I'd done. So when it comes to the point of actually having the performance, my daughter was having her first dance. So I was down, obviously watching the first dance. Then halfway through, I would sneak off so I can go and get ready. Because luckily, where the venue was, which was Hengrave Hall, beautiful, stunning manor house.
So just for our international visitors, where's that in relation to London?
That's in Suffolk. So that's probably good 80 odd miles north, probably actually about 100 miles north of London.
Okay.
Like northeast of London.
It's like a big kind of stately home.
It's a Tudor manor. It's a Tudor manor, and it was built roughly between 1525 and 38, sorry. Actually, it was Cardinal Wolsey that had it built just for those history buffs. And then it was taken off him, falling out of favour with Henry VIII. Right. So it's it looks very similar to Hampton Court Palace. You know, it's architecture's stunning. Anyway, so I then snuck off. Because inside the hall, they've got this nice big hall with all wooden panels, and they had a raised mezzanine type area at the top from which you can look down. So I already set up my gear, the speakers and the amps and everything up the top, and I snuck up there. And of course, I got myself ready for when she finished her first dance, and that's when I done it. In fact, my partner was saying that my daughter, after the dance, turned around and said, "Where's my dad?" Because it was supposed to be the father of the dance. Time. My partner just said, "Well, look up there," and that's when everyone turned around and looked up. Yeah.
What was your heart rate like as you played those first few notes?
Well, I'm just glad to say that I was far enough away from them, because being up in the gods, and it was a hot day as well, it was like a furnace. So I was literally just through nerves and the heat itself, I was literally just dripping. It was literally just running off my forehead. Yeah. And I was so nervous. So, you know, initially pressing the play for the backing track to come out was a very, very shaky moment. But I cut in actually very, very well. So yeah.
Well done. And it went well, didn't it? Your performance went well.
Yes, it did. I don't know if in the clip that you played that you can hear everybody downstairs at one point just start singing, and it almost drowns me out. Yeah, it was exceptionally good. In fact, afterwards, when I went down after the dance with my daughter, somebody came up and said, "Got a bone to pick with you. You made my wife cry."
Oh, that's so lovely. That's really, really nice. And what was your daughter's reaction when she found out all the effort that you'd put in to play live at her wedding?
Well, both Nikita and Matty were really shocked, to say the least.
So Matty's her husband.
Yeah, Matthew, he's her husband. They were totally shocked, totally unaware that that's what the goal was.
Yeah,
and it totally worked. It totally worked out. Yeah.
So nice. It's such a lovely, lovely story. And I've got to say, I've told this story to lots of people. Client came to me, never having played, said his daughter's wedding was in 2 years from now, and he really wanted to do it. And he did it. You know, he just works really hard, and he did it. And everybody's been so blown away, and found that just really, really inspiring. So you have inspired a lot of people, and I think it's great what you did. So what advice would you give to someone else who might be thinking about learning an instrument for a special occasion or doing something similar to what you do? That you do?
Literally, go for it. Just pick what you want to do and just do it. Obviously, I allowed, well, I allowed, when I thought about it, it was a year, it was like just under 2 years from when they told me that, from when I first thought about doing this. And I thought, well, that should be plenty of time. From, which I could have probably done with a bit longer. Um, definitely not too much shorter. But I think it depends on what your goal is. Apart from the end goal playing at somebody's party or wedding, it's how well you feel as though you need to be able to play to do that. And then obviously you could judge by the amount of hours you might need to put in. I put in hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours, and thousands of times that I played that tune alone, just that single tune.
Yeah.
A lot of effort, but
Yeah.
so rewarding, so rewarding.
Well, the thing was that I remember saying to you, you're going to have to play this tune, hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000 times, because it needs to be part of your DNA. If you're going to do it for somebody's wedding, I mean, it's one thing if you're going to go busking, and I didn't want you to feel like ridiculously nervous. And the way that, the British Special Air Service, the SAS, they have this saying, the 6 Ps, isn't it? Proper preparation prevents pathetically poor performance, but they don't use the word pathetically, they use another rude word. But it's all about preparation. So if you're well prepared, that stops you from, well, it definitely helps. You're still going to be nervous, but it definitely helps. So we tasked you with some crazy things, really, to play that tune a great deal and to perform it somewhere else was definitely part of that.
Yeah, I used to do literally minimum of, personally, this was me, minimum of 2 hours a day, minimum. Many a time it was, or a majority of the time it would be 3 hours doing it. And also on weekends, a Saturday, quite often I would do a 7 hour, which and it is. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that as well, because obviously when you initially first start, your lips become really sore. I know over a long time, it does get better, for which what I was part of the reason why I needed to toughen my lip up. I needed to be able to perform. So, yeah, it was everything in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and your commitment and your dedication just made me feel 100% committed to you. I really wanted to help you. I really wanted to give you everything that I could out of all of my experience and all the tips and tricks to make it go well, because I felt, I felt so invested in the whole process. I felt it was just incredible.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was a team effort, though. I know I would be the one up there performing, but it's you can't have a performance without having things in the background, and you were an integral part of that. I mean, you showed me so much, and the support was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So from that, I'll always be eternally grateful.
Thank you. Well, you're very, very welcome. You're more than welcome, and it was a pleasure to be a part of it. And like I said, you not only inspired me, but you've inspired loads of other people as well. So, was there any moments where I mean, this is a silly question, really. The question is, were there any moments where you nearly gave up, and what made you push through? But I know you well enough to think you were never going to give up. There was never any moments where you were going to quit. But there must have been some moments where you maybe had a doubt, or you just thought, oh my God, what have I done? How did you get through those? Because not every moment would have been the same. That's what I'm saying. your perception would have gone up and down. How did you get through the darker times when you might have wondered for a moment, what have I done?
I think it was literally just thinking about the end goal, thinking of the pride that my daughter and my son-in-law would feel. That literally that carries on an awful lot. That just helped me through, really. There was many a time when you're thinking, what am I doing? You know, and especially with going out busking, you're standing there going, "What am I doing?" You know,
Yeah.
but it's all part of it. And at the end of the day, when you do it and you succeed at it, you know, you look back thinking. I mean, even now, I could be practicing. I could be in the studio that I'm in, and I think to myself, I think back to what it was like when I first started my very first lesson, and how different it is, and how far I've come. Obviously, how far I've got to go is a huge distance, and I'm absolutely nowhere near. I'm not even 1% anywhere near that. But it's yeah,
Well, if it's any consolation to you, I've been playing a lot longer than you, and I feel exactly the same way. I mean, the saxophone is it's a never ending it's a never ending job. You could devote your whole life, and people do, some people they start when they're, I mean, like my son, for instance, he started playing his instrument when he was 6. He's 20 now, and we would totally have this conversation. He recently said to me, the more I know, the more I realize how much there is to learn, and how exquisite the people that, the real greats, how unimaginably good they are, and you don't even realize that, because you can't perceive the difference. So you can't perceive the difference between somebody who's just really really good and someone who's really great. Most people can't even really see that difference. So this is just a subject that is for life, so I feel the same way. I'm sure everybody does.
yeah. What many people don't see is the dedication they've made, the sacrifices they've made to get where they are. It's yeah, it
Yeah.
takes a long time. Even now, I mean, even since the wedding, I'm always up in the studio whenever I can get up here. I'm up here every week.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not all working away from home, or I'm elsewhere, then I'm up here. So
So your daughter's wedding was in 2022, wasn't it?
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, and you started playing 2 years before that, so it's around about 2019.
yeah.
And we're 2025 now, coming towards the end. I can't believe it. And you're still playing, and so I think that's very cool, because a lot of people, once they'd achieved the goal, might have switched off a little bit, but that didn't happen with you, did it?
No. I mean, I just loved playing it. It was when you feel, you got the saxophone on your shoulder or around your neck, and you got it in front, and you're just resting your fingers on the keys, and you can feel the little bellows in the keys. It's just like a magnet. It just feels as though it just feels phenomenal. It really does.
Yeah, well, you're a natural born saxophone player. I think that's right.
Yeah.
So what was so my final question to you, and then we'll wrap this up. What was something unexpected that you learned from this whole experience? Was there anything that you learned outside, maybe, just about life in general, about yourself, or?
I think mainly, like I touched on it earlier, that fear, that fear of being ridiculed because of not being able to perform the music how people would expect it to perform. I want people to be able to listen and enjoy it, and not think, oh God, he shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be playing. He should, go off and do something else. I know you'll always get people that do, that say that, but that's what I learned about myself. Is I was surprised that it affected me like it did, to be able to push through that. It is a good thing, because obviously I built on that, and I did push through that. And all right, I'm not all the way there. I wouldn't go out and go busking tomorrow, but I know that, because there again it comes back to being able to want to perform perfectly for people. And I would like I said, I wanted to tweak things in a tune, even like the Whitney Houston tune that I played. I play that now, and I think, oh, I can do this to that now, and just change it up slightly, bit more vibrato somewhere, maybe a few grace notes here and there, add bits to it. Yeah, so it's never ending. So yeah.
So if I understand what you were saying a bit earlier about that, what was something unexpected that you learned from this whole experience? Don't let the fear of ridicule, or don't don't let the fear of failure hold you back from doing things. Is that right?
No, that's it. Exactly that. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I totally agree with you, and I can tell you, I mean, because I hadn't started a YouTube channel before when we first met, And, you know, I was pretty scared about that really, and all the editing and the sound engineering and, if that's the right word, sound recording and everything. And it's a pretty scary business, but I totally agree with you. Don't let it hold you back. Have a go, you know, just try it. And even if it doesn't work out how you expect it to, you know, there's still a good chance that you can do something really interesting and learn from the experience. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, no, I'm totally on the same page. Well, Jonathan, you're an absolute star. You really are. From scratch to playing at your daughter's wedding in 2 years. It's actually slightly less than 2 years. But I just think it's massively impressive, and it was an absolute honour to guide you through this process. And thank you so much for coming on my YouTube channel.
No, like I said, thank you, because it's a team effort. And it was a lot of wonderful guidance. So if anyone else, literally look Lyndon up. he's definitely the man for the job.
Oh, thank you, mate. Well, it's been a pleasure to chat to you today. Thanks again for coming on, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Lovely.
All right, man. You have a good day.
Ta-da.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Isn't that so super cool? What I'd love, if there's just one person out there watching this video takes from this, is just go for it. Whatever it is that you want to do. If somebody can, through just determination, go from absolute never playing a saxophone before to playing I Will Always Love You at his daughter's wedding in under 2 years, and playing like that just through sheer dedication and hard work, how amazing is that? Whatever it is that you want to do, just go for it. You've got this one chance. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.